think about visual art journals, paintings, assemblages and more? If you like it like I do, then you are right here. Hi, I'm Bea Grob and I love to inspire you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my studio. So glad you joined me today again for another video. Now, today's video is all about the hashtag the 100 Day Project. While I'm talking a little bit about the how and the why, I'm gonna flip through all the 50 postcards I have made so far. Just around the time when it was time to think about whether I want to join it or not, I was thinking about it for several years. There was a free class over at Ivy Newport's classes, and there was a class with Natalie Eslick where she did a free video on sketching crows. I do love crows and magpies and ravens and all kind of from the Corvidae family. So I thought, maybe I just gonna use this as a starting point for my 100-day project challenge. So that's what I did. The title, as you have seen in the paper before, it's about crows, ravens, magpies, and charcoals and more. That's what I did. I need a title for myself to do a challenge. So I decided to use mostly those not so much used supplies I have in my stash. For example, charcoals and graphite, tinted graphites, watercolor. I do use watercolor quite a bit too, but the other mediums not so much as to draw something completely like with charcoals. Like this one is completely with charcoal. So, but yeah. And I was wondering when I started whether I'm gonna have 50 ideas or 100 ideas in the end. So I just decided to start, like here, this one is just with ink and the glass dip pen. But then I also did have like mixed media style. I'm mostly a mixed media artist. I always mix and change things up. So anyway, it was a challenge to come up with new ideas every day, but at one point you get into the flow and it just gets a habit of thinking every day about what kind of medium, like here I did use pencils, what kind of, which part of the bird sometimes. And the other challenge was to find enough references. I tried to work as much with references as I could. It's not my usual style. I'm more the imaginative kind of artist. I just make things up. I like that. But I tried to be really a little bit more realistic maybe. So yeah, this was by the way from a walk we went, and I had a picture of this crow in this very gnarly tree. But other references I took like from Pixabay, from Pinterest. I did have some my own photos. What else did I use? Unsplash I did use. Yeah, and did mix up things pretty well. Do I like all of them? No. Certainly not, but it is for me like a little bit like a sketchbook, just with loose pages. I tend to prefer working on loose pages. I like that constricted working in journals not so much. Sometimes I feel it easier if I have a single sheet of paper to do what I want to do. I also did incorporate carving some stamps. But then again, I did work with pastels also. I did also use pen pastels and soft pastels. And I don't know, maybe I'm already over. At one point I did use coffee to color in my bird. I also did add some embossing, just playing around, not very much having an idea what it really has to look like in the beginning. I did make myself a little bit of a file folder with all those references which I have collected from the different places I mentioned. But again, like this one, that's totally without no reference, just out of my head. Again, this magpie, I don't think she is very accurate, not what the photo looks like, but it's okay. Again, the feather is without reference. And then finally I had a drawback to going a little bit more with my acrylic paints, which I do the most, and I even introduced a little bit of jelly print. I made a stencil. This stencil is going to be available on my website soon. But then I did use just a micron pen. Here I did first go in with the micron pen and then watercolors. I also did pull out my wax crayon, my water-soluble wax crayons, and then this one is what I usually do, purely with the acrylic paints. Okay, that's it, my first 50 postcards, which I did, by the way, on watercolor paper. This one is purely done in acrylic paint. That's what I do most. I paint in acrylic paint mostly. And there's going to be a little bit of time lapse right after this intro. Now, I hope you enjoy. Till next time, take care. Bye.